Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EPAN to the UKV pod. I'm Drew Pitzer, your host, joined by my co-host, Josh Carpenter, and we have a very special guest from George Washington High School of Forward, Noah Lewis. Noah, how you doing today, my friend?
Doing good. What about yourself?
And man, we're living the dream. We really appreciate you taking time to join the cast today. And now, for anybody who doesn't know you, if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself, feel free.
Yep. Well, I'm Noah Lewis. I'm a forward for George Washington. Recently committed to Wright State for basketball, class of 26. I've been in West Virginia since my 6th grade year. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts, born in a military family, moved all over. But I've basically been raised here since 6th grade. I was homeschooled, so I've only gone to school in high school. Like my first year of public school was my freshman year. Not really like new to everything because I've had friends because I've played sports since I was a toddler. So, I mean, yeah, that's me. I play AAU with Phenom United, play with West Virginia Gold my 16U year, and just getting ready for my senior season at George Washington.
For
Yes,
sure. And
sir.
obviously, you're coming off a state championship appearance, really took Spring Mills to the brink. That was a phenomenal game, and you really showcased your talent. And obviously now being a Division I commit, what's going into next season so you don't have to, end your high school career kind of on a sour note how last season ended?
Well, I think most of it is we got a good group of guys coming back. We're losing Gale Lamb, Jeffrey Harris, and Savion Brown, two of our starting guards and then our backup point guards. So obviously big pieces. You need experienced guards to make a deep run. But I mean, all three of those guys that I just named, last year was their first time playing varsity. And our starting point guard for this next year and our other guard, they have varsity experience. So I think we're a much more experienced group. Plus, we just got some guys. We blend together. I think we have a really good shot at it. Obviously, in my unbiased opinion, we have one of the best coaches in the state. He's been doing it for years and years and years. He knows everything, basically. Obviously, there's good competition in the state, so we can't just write it off saying we're state champs. Like, if we would have done that last year, we wouldn't have been in the position that we were in. And that's what we did my sophomore year. We kind of just walked in there. We had all these transfers. On paper, we should have won it, and we had that mindset, and we went 14-11.
We had a lot of battles with Coach Green. Drew he graduated Musselman High School, so he's got the Eastern Panhandle. So we kind of mix those two together because a lot of players, coaches, they're not really familiar with like the EPAC, and then those guys aren't very familiar with the MSAC. It's like two completely different dynamics. Spring
Yeah.
Mills wasn't even thought about when I was in high school 10 years ago. Like they weren't a thing. It was like Martinsburg. Basically
Jefferson.
Martinsburg is all we knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now
Martinsburg,
Spring
maybe
Mills is
Jefferson. That's about it.
Yeah, honestly,
but Spring Mills
I
has started a dynasty up there.
Facts. I honestly didn't really know much about the EPAC until my freshman year. We had played Jefferson in the regular season my freshman year at West Virginia State, beat them by 50. Like, we probably shot 80% from the field that game. We had a great game. And then we played them first round of the state tournament. We were the 2 seed, they were the 7 seed, and we lost.
It
For
happens,
middle
man.
school, you were homeschooled in middle school. Who'd you play basketball for in middle school?
Played with the local middle school. I took online classes, so I was eligible to play. So
So you played at John Adams or what?
yeah, I played at J.
Did you guys win a county championship there? How was that experience like there those few years?
My 8th grade year, we went 20-0 and won the county championship, obviously.
County
I was
championship.
actually just talking to I train one of my guys. He's a grad assistant at West Virginia State, a Johnny Sani, if you know the name. I was working out with him this morning, and me and him and Dominic Sprouse, he was coming in to work out after. So we were all sitting there talking about that 8th grade championship game because Dominic was a 6th grader. He didn't really play. But it was like there's so many like D1 athletes on that floor. Like, LaRon Dews, Deron Parks. They're both D1 football players to Indiana and Florida State. Azon Reed, he's going on an Alabama visit next month, like, for basketball.
Really? Did you guys have any close games that year? Or who'd you guys play in the championship?
It was South Charleston.
South Charleston?
That team, they were stacked. We beat them by 5 both times. That was our
That's cool.
closest game. Like, the second closest game,
Yeah.
I think we won by 20.
I was intrigued how your what your middle school career was like. Because DuPont Middle School went 12-0 this last year, 12-0, whatever the schedule was. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's like Riverside's feeder school, but their whole starting lineup dipped. Like none of them's going to Riverside.
DuPont, Cedar Grove, East Bank, all those schools when I was in middle school.
Different. Yeah, I went to Cedar
could
Grove.
take the
I went
day
to
off.
Cedar Grove and we won, like our football team, they hadn't won a game in years. So my 8th grade year at Cedar Grove, we swept DuPont both times. Like it was like Cedar Grove's Super Bowl. Since then, they never won one game before. They never won one game after.
Riverside wasn't terrible do you know who Braden Ward is?
Yeah.
huge kid. He's playing. I
Yeah,
think
he's
he's
through
playing football somewhere.
football at Marshall.
Yeah, he was huge. I remember because he was a senior my freshman year.
Mm.
He's just big. I mean, they
Yeah,
weren't
so
terrible that.
my sophomore year was, John Elmore's senior year at GW.
And see, that was my junior year, and he dropped 40 on our head before half.
He's
Like that was just
he's
different.
So you played
it's
GW, Drew, in
Yep.
high school?
We
Really?
played him at West Virginia camp. Yep.
Then my freshman year was Luke Eddy's senior year at GW. So that was, I think, my first start in high school was the sectional game against GW. I was a freshman. I probably weighed 140 pounds. I was top of the key, 131. We beat GW like the last time. I think that was the last time Riverside ever even made it out of a section. Like it was
beat you
crazy.
up
Yeah, it was a crazy
with
time back then, man. But yeah, Coach
Luke
Green.
Eddy.
Yeah,
That would have
yeah.
been what, like 2012 or 13.
That was my freshman year, yeah, and then my senior year, uh, we got all the way up to, like, 8th in the state at Riverside. We lost to GW in the section, obviously. We just never had the guard depth to win. Like, I mean, I took them as far as I could take them, but at the end of the day, we did not have the guard depth to beat Capital, South Charleston, and we just couldn't do it, but
Yeah, so no, obviously we'll kind of stay with the middle school. Obviously, you were kind of during that COVID time period. You know, you're probably just getting into middle school, or you're a sixth or seventh grader when COVID happened. How do you think that might have impacted the way you developed your game? Did you spend extra time in the gym, kind of getting better, and that's really helped you out, not along with the size and your athleticism that you have?
I mean, I don't think COVID really took a part in it because I was at my house the whole time anyway. Like the only time
So you ain't leave. You just ain't even leave the crib.
I was homeschooled, so I would go to practice, and then I mean, obviously, I had like friends and stuff from sports that I would go hang out with, but like for the most part, I was just hanging around my house. But I didn't start my sixth grade year. I was like the worst player on the team, like bench JV. My seventh grade year, I was a two-way player. I played some JV, some varsity. Then my eighth grade year, I started, and I was good. And then I didn't really start training basketball outside of like practice and games until after my freshman year. And then I realized like, oh, I got second team all conference and I was like, I'm not bad. So I started like working on a perimeter game, working on how to handle the ball, working on my shot, just studying the game. And that's when I really, for my freshman to sophomore year, I'd say that was my biggest jump in my game. I mean, I'm one of those dudes when I'm watching film of myself, like even if it's from like a week ago, I'm like, dang,
I never thought I was good my whole basketball career. Even in college for my freshman year, I did not think I was good. Like, I was like, I'm comparing myself, who's the best players in 2016 class? And I'm like, these guys are good. I'm
Adrian
like, I
Dunbar was probably the best player
well,
out of
I'm
that
talking
class.
about like out of state. I'm watching Ball is Life,
Yeah,
Hoops mixtape. I'm watching like,
Ben Simmons.
yeah, I'm watching Miles Bridges and I'm watching Ben Simmons. And I'm like, these guys are the guys that's the best players in the country. Like, I am not good. I'm averaging 25 a game in the biggest class in West Virginia. And I'm like, bro,
It's actually like because I've played against some of the top kids this summer, like in my class. Like I've played against Dylan Mingo, Caleb Holt. Those are two top 10 guys in my class. Duron Rippey. I've played with some really like Carlos Medlock. He committed to Michigan State. So I've played with a lot of good players. And it's like some players, I feel like it's like I don't feel like the gap's that big.
yeah.
And then other players, it's like, especially the guards. The guards, I'm like, I don't know how
They're
they.
different.
I was about to say, I was at a Big Shots tournament my junior season, and like the court was packed, man. It was tip off. This team loaded North Carolina. Bam Adebayo tips the ball to the shooting guard, swings it. Dennis Smith Jr. just looks to the side, looks like LeBron and D Wade. Looks to the side, throws it up off the tip, and Bam Adebayo just goes 2 feet off the
Punching it.
elbow. And they look the exact same in that game as they did in their pro career so far. Like, I'm like, these guys are different breeds. And that was the biggest gap for me, I think, back then. It was like the athleticism was the difference for me. I think in a real game, you put me out there, like at that time, like I'm playing my role, but these guys are like supremely athletic. That was the main difference. So I had to change my game up anytime I went up against anybody at
And,
that level.
and like to add on that point, Josh, like I remember playing D'Angelo Russell at 7:30 in the morning, and Buddy didn't even break a sweat and had 40. And then he ended up playing for another team that tournament. Like that's so at this point, when you're a sophomore to a senior, you really start to discover the guys like, oh yeah, he's going next level. You couldn't have told me that he was going to be the best point guard to ever live, but that's the skill gap starts to shrink more and more. And looking the way you play, I think you have a little bit of Luka Doncic with how you won't ever predetermine what you're doing. I feel like you're very you're reactive to whatever the defense is doing in front of you. And I think that kind of what separates you from a lot of the guys in your class. What do you look at whenever you had the ball in your hand from a defender to kind of judge on what you want to do, either go to the rim, shoot from perimeter, dish it off to one of your teammates?
I mean, I feel like obviously I'm a drive first type of guy. Like I like to get downhill. I'm really like something I'm stressing is I have to like know that like I'm not gonna be able to just get downhill all the time. Like playing against West Virginia competition, I can get downhill most of the time, but like I need to like be able to shoot that shot even like if I have the option, I need to be able to shoot. But I'd say most of the time what I look at is I'm a big like I feel like I think the game real well. So I look at the help side. I feel like I can get by my guy most times than not, or at least like have a step to where I force the help side. So then when I see
Yep,
the help
stop the
side
kick.
coming over, I like can make the pass and then play out of that.
Yeah, let's stay on the West Virginia thing. So how much of a difference do you feel like, especially now, because you've already done this growth and you're coming into the senior year? What's the difference like coming from like the AAU circuit and then you're playing probably like a random middle of the pack West Virginia school during a weekday, and you're like, these guys can't hold me whatsoever. Like, what's the difference that feel like? Like, are you like thinking like, what can I work on this game? Because I would have those games where it's like 25 in the first half, coaches sit me rest of the game.
Yeah, well, I'd say the difference between obviously the difference between the circuit and high school ball, it's crazy.
It's
Like
night and day.
Yeah, like kids are 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches taller. Kids are so much faster, much more athletic. And the thing with circuit ball, at least 3SSB, which I don't think this goes for all AAU, is I feel like the AAU is like no one really plays defense. But SSB, those teams stick together and those teams have, like, we have scouting reports for teams. Like, we watch film, we know each and every player on the team. So, like, there's a scouting report. So it's like defense scoring is hard. When I would play big shots, it's like you don't really know who you're playing against, so there's no scouting report. Teams don't really care. But I would say the difference between like when we went up and played Cedar Point with my high school team, when we went up to the Cedar Point shootout, the defense there, like it was Ohio teams, Michigan teams. That wasn't that big of a difference. If anything, I feel like it was easier because the West Virginia teams have a scouting report, and those teams in Ohio didn't have a scouting report. So it was like I would drive and there wouldn't be extra help. I would do a move and it's like they weren't ready. Like I feel like they just didn't know what to do. Like
How
I feel like the
many how
biggest
many
thing is
guys
just
did you
got
play last year where you were like where you would got there and you're like, these guys don't even have a guy within 3 inches of me? Like, did you have games like that where you're like playing a middle of the pack team that had no chance to make the tournament? And you're like, what are we doing out here? Like, they don't even have a guy 3 inches within your height.
I mean, yeah, yeah, there is some teams like that, but it's always like those teams are still they're almost the hardest to play against because like some teams
Scrappiness.
I was talking to one of my high school teammate or my teammates, Carlos, because he played in Michigan, and he was like, some games that they would just kill teams in Michigan. They also lost in the state championship in Michigan. He's going to Link Academy this year, but he was like, some games like we're playing a trash team, and they know they're not going to win. Anytime I get the ball, they just send two or three guys. Like, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, yeah, like some teams just it's because it's almost harder to stop those or score on those teams because they're sending so many guys.
Like you probably go through a lot when you were talking about, playing in circuit ball and some teams haven't looked at you. I bet you're probably getting the third or fourth matchup just based off of looks. It's just a natural thing. And then after you get through the first quarter and people realize, what you could do with the basketball, I feel like that has to probably make you happy. Like Larry Bird used to say, "Why are you putting this white boy on me?" I feel like you kind of have that same mantra, just the way you play.
Yeah, well, I'd say I was a confident third option on my AAU team. Our two guards were power five. They were so nice. But like that took a lot of weight off my shoulders. Plus we had shooters, like everyone on our team like had a strap. So it was hard to overcommit to one dude. But yeah, it was a lot more free. Like I would catch the ball and not having double teams sent at me. Obviously when I catch in the post, team knows that like when I face up in that mid post area, they usually send someone from the baseline.
Yeah.
Usually what I do in high school ball, if someone sends it from the baseline, I'll just skip it to the other side. But
Yeah.
in the circuit ball, kids are 6'9", lengthy. They're going to intercept that if you throw it cross court.
Yeah, this season, I think that's what I wanted to ask as well. Like this year, I think it's going to be more than ever. I think every team that you play that has a decent coach and decent personnel, their whole scouting report's going to have your name written on the top, and they're going to say, "This team, he's not going to beat us. We're going to do everything around him not beating us." Like, are you already aware of that? Like, we're going to go in every game this year. They're going to say, "We can't let Noah beat us. Like, you're gonna be seeing everything before it happens, but they're sending everybody at you all year.
I mean, I'm aware of that because there was one team, I'll leave them unnamed, but who did that last year. And I think I had like, it was a season low. I had like 5 points or something, but we won by like 45.
And that's what
It's like,
matters.
it was supposed to be, it was not supposed to be a 45-point game. It was supposed to be like a 15, 12-point game. But like, I probably had like 8 assists that game.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
if teams want to do that, it's
So going into this year, like you've already committed, and this is like relates to me heavily too. But my senior year, I knew like, all right, this is going to be the best record we've ever had. How can we win the most games? I had already committed. I had pressure on me. I was thinking, man, I got to really show this year. It's my senior year. I got to show I can handle the ball. I got to show I can shoot threes. I got to show that I'm prepared for the next level. And every game that I went out thinking that way, like it almost was the worst thing for me because I was so focused on showing that I was ready and developed for the next level that I could have just gotten a post all the time and just dominated these kids. But I'm out there like, man, I want to show like I can spot up, I can pass. And that was the worst thing for me. So like my own main advice would be to you would be to all that's gonna come, like you're gonna develop, you're already developing. But like if you're playing guys and you know you can just dominate these dudes, just kill these dudes every single time. Cause I was so prepared, like man, I want everybody to know that I'm developed. I'm a college wing. I'm a college wing. Yeah, but I'm playing a 6'2" guy that can't hold me whatsoever. I needed to take way more time and just kill these dudes, man.
yeah, nah, I'd say the biggest thing for me is I've actually talked to my trainer about this. Just play in rhythm. Like, don't think about what you're gonna do, just do it. Like, I think my biggest thing for shooting more threes this year is just catching like transition threes, trail threes. Like, if I catch and I'm open, then shoot it. Cause like I'd say my shot, I've tweaked a couple things in my shot. So like, which sucks because like in AAU, it was like I had like freshly tweaked it, so like I wasn't shooting so well. But like now it's like I'm really starting to see a difference. It's like way better. Like I'm hoping to be a 40, 45% three-point
Yeah,
shooter.
because people make so much points on that. They'll say, man, you got to show that you're ready for the next level. You're obviously ready for the next level because you are going to the next level. So, like, that's like people would always be in my ear, like, you got to show them that, man. You got to show them that. It's like, yeah, but in this game situation, I should have killed way more. Like, I was so concerned with that. So, my points per game average went down 10 points from my junior year to my senior year, but we had the best record in school history and we were ranked eighth in the state. And everybody was like, why did Josh have a bad season? That's not a bad season. So those assists and those all that stuff that you're talking about, that's the way to go about it, man. I
I
wasn't
mean,
overthinking. I would just kill.
and just like to carry off of Josh's point, like the way that you play at the college level, you might be like a really big passer, and they might throw you on the block to make plays off the block, especially for guys that are sitting for corner threes or you got flashers flashing down to the rim. Already committing to Wright State and being a Division I commit. What do you want to really actually redefine your game? Obviously, you're tuning up your shot, but what is something else that you're really looking on to improve for the next level?
I mean, my shot, like you mentioned, I would just say pace of play. The game, like out of all the college practices I've watched and college games I've watched, the pace of play and the endurance of those guys is
Insane.
crazy. They sprint everywhere. Like you can't take any plays off at the college level or someone's gonna kill you. Like it's crazy, especially in the practices. Like the two practices I watched up there, the guys took no plays off. It was up and down in 3, 4 seconds. And so I'd say conditioning is one of the biggest things. The three things that they personally told me to work on was obviously my free throw shooting. I need to become a better free throw shooter. My patience in the post, they think I rush sometimes. And then what's the third thing? Post patience, free throw shoot, and my lateral quickness. Like being able to guard, being able to switch onto ones and twos, which I feel like I can guard a two now, but I think a one, I just need a little more like lateral quickness now.
I'm going to carry back on to the conditioning aspect that you were talking on. Obviously, Josh and I went through a rigorous, conditioning program at Salem. It was actually called the 20 suicides in 20 minutes, and every suicide had to be underneath 32 seconds. You had 28 seconds to rest, basically until the clock hit zero. But leading up to that first practice, from the end of August until let's say the 1st of October, depending on what program. It's probably the most strenuous part, and that's what makes a lot of players quit. What is something about you that won't allow you to quit even when the going gets tough?
I would just say the love for the game. Like, I know it's all part of the process. I'm one of the guys, I feel like if you really know me, you know that I love the process. Like, I like going to the gym every day. I'm going to an open gym tonight at 7. I worked out this morning at 10 a.m. Like, I'm doing 2-a-days. I'm having runs every day. I love the off season. Like, so it's really like you were saying about those little suicides you do. I know Wright State does these because the guys were telling me about them. They go on the football field at 6 a.m. They got, I think
The
it's called,
120?
no, it's called like 27s or something. The guards have to make, so it's like 100 yards, obviously. The guards got to make it down 100 yards in 14 seconds. The bigs got to make it down in 17 seconds. And I think forwards are 16. But, and
And
you
they're
do
doing
that.
like 20 of those, right?
There's 3 groups. So like the first group goes, second group goes, third group goes. And then the first group starts when the third group finishes. So
Yeah.
you get like a 30-second break and you do it 27 times. And you don't make time.
Like if you're a college athlete and you're going to be like, which you mean you will, but just in general, other ones, like you got to stay in shape, man. Do not come to college, your first practice out of shape. Like before I went to visit West Lib, I was running miles, just running miles. Then I got there for my visit, my first visit, no offer, nothing like that. My first visit, they were like, okay, we're playing to 100. You're on this team. The other team is the starting 5 for this year's team that is number 2 in the nation.
Was
I
that when,
played so
was Ben
Crutchfield.
Hallett there?
Yeah,
Oh,
That was
Crush.
Ben.
Hallett was the assistant, so he led my visit.
You
Crutchfield was the
Crutchfield.
head coach.
They
Yeah,
still ran the same type of system.
they're running it right now too. They're running it in IU Indy, Nova Southeastern.
Which
I
is
was recruited
great.
by IUND. Um, but I've talked to a couple guys. You know who Aiden Satterfield is?
Yeah,
Hmm.
he went to.
I
I
think
think he went. Did he go to Catholic?
yeah,
Yeah.
he finished up where Walsh. He played at Walsh, but I think he was at West Lib, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But he would tell me about some of those practices. They would shoot for a little bit, like 15 minutes, and then they would scrimmage to 150.
Bro, what's amazing is that like they're not making you run suicides. They're not making you run all practice. Like they're playing basketball, bro. Which gets back
Yeah,
to like the original. Me and Drew chop this up all the time. We're like, man, these kids need to play games. They need to go play 5-on-5. Go outside. And like when we were young, we would hoop against grown men all the time. Like we're hooping. We're going
Grown men.
outside. We're getting bullied. We're playing. So you're not going to get the development that you will in a practice situation. But with Howlett and them specifically, those systems, man, nothing beats that type of
it's
basketball.
that
It's the funnest basketball, bro.
it's that and like who else does that? Nova Southeastern.
Yeah, because
They're really good.
Crutchfield is now their head coach there. So Howlett was at West Lib,
I
Crutchfield was at
think
West Lib.
They just won a national championship too.
They win it
I
all the time.
talked. No, I
Yeah.
talked to Coach RJ from down there. I
Really?
don't think it's Crutchfield.
Yeah, because now the new head coach at West Lib is Mike Lamberti, which he was a player under Crutchfield too. So they keep it all in the family because they keep running the same system. But now Howlett's about to run that system at IU Indy with a bunch of West Lib transfers, and they play teams like Butler, Ohio State. Like, it's going to be the funnest to watch that system at that level because it never really happens up there. It's going to
They're
be
in the
cool
same.
as heck.
They're in the same conference as Wright State.
That's so fun. That's going to be so fun.
So you're going to obviously get to interact with them. And speaking with you a little bit outside of the interview, you said that kind of just wasn't your style. What your idealistic style? What fits you best?
I would say I play really well in the half court. I really like teams who, and I mean IUND did this, but teams who play through their 4-man. Like
Hmm.
watching practice, and a lot of the teams that recruited me, obviously everyone's going to tell me what I want to hear. So everyone said, yeah, we played through our 4-man. They all touched the ball. But like watching the practice of the Wright State, like their 4-mans, when they're trailing, they touch the ball 2-3 times a possession. Like they're the reversal guys, they're the handoffs, can catch
They're
an
the
attack.
action guy. That's the action guy.
Yeah, and when I was getting recruited by Oakland, they obviously had, what was his name? Was it Trey Townsend? Yeah, when he was on the team with Jack Golke that beat Kentucky.
Goalkeeper was different, man.
Yeah, but Trey Townsend, he transferred to Arizona after that year. And at Oakland, he was like one of the best 4-mans. Like he led the country in usage as a 4 in all of D1, which is like unheard of.
Yeah.
But no, when he transferred to Arizona, he didn't really perform as well because of the system that Oakland ran for him. Like he fit that system so well.
it was more tailored to him compared to Arizona, who's a much faster paced team who gets up into you defensively. It's like, obviously, that's what I'm saying. Your choice where you go to the next level really has to fit you, not only for, what you do in basketball, but for you outside the court. We want to kind of ask you, like, who are you outside of basketball?
Outside of basketball, I mean, I'm not really I'm not a huge party guy. I don't go out much. I have a huge friend group of a lot of my buddies who've been since middle school, and then I have a smaller friend group. It's like me, we call it the dirty bub. But
Yeah.
it's like me, two, three kids grade under me, and then two people grade older than me. One of them actually, my friend Savion, he's going to play football at U Pike. He went to Cap
That's
High
good.
his freshman and sophomore year, then GW his junior and senior year. But he lived with me from January until he just moved out, like to go to U Pike last week. So that was like one of my best friends. So I'm always with him. But I golf a little bit outside of basketball. I know when I went up to Wright State, we went to a golf simulator with all the guys.
That's cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's really
He's a
just,
chill dude, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
just hooping.
I got a
I
few
play
I
the
wanna
game.
I wanna run off, Drew, that I got on top of my head. Back to, like, the high school games, because when I was at Riverside, I faced this in the high school, and I wanted to see what your perspective was. So, like, you're playing a game, maybe let's say it might be your junior year or your sophomore year. You're playing a team super athletic, right? What I always felt so helpless in these games when I would be the 4 or 5 and the team's pressing us and we don't have the guard depth, and I'm out there and I'm like, "We're already down 10 points in the first quarter. I haven't touched the ball yet. I'm the best player on the team." I felt so like I still am trying to figure out how, like, even if I was a coach, how could we win these games if I don't have the personnel? Like Drew said, Musselman, when he was there, they played Martinsburg. Their coach lined everybody up at half court and just sprinted to the ball. Like, what's your perspective on games like that when you're like, man, we're outmanned athletically and I'm not the point guard. What do I do?
I mean, I would say there was a lot of, so like what we did in practice, we always had me, like when we're facing pressure, one team who does pressure was Park South. They've always had
That's exactly what happened to us against Parks. We were down by 12 within the first 2 minutes of the game in the tournament. Fallon's crazy.
Park South is like they're all up in you. They run that diamond, and it really got us my sophomore year. But I mean, they're still good. They're probably still run that press this year. But I mean, I always like in practice, I always take the first pass, so I catch, and I'm taking the trap, and I'm making the decision either to hit the reversal in the middle or the sideline. And like that's what I want to do. I want to take the first pass because I trust myself with making that decision, and I'm taller than the people trapping me. I can just throw it over them.
Right.
But sometimes in the game, like he likes to have me back to like to when if we do break that pressure, I'm one of those two. It's a 2-on-1, like you're gonna
So you're
score.
finishing at the rim, essentially.
But then sometimes I know for AAU, I was just sitting like I would be in the middle, like especially if it's like a laid back zone press and they're not trapping. But I mean, when I'm back, it is frustrating when you can't get the ball
It
past half
is.
court.
It's
But it's like
crazy.
it gets to a point where I just tell my coach, I'm like, give me the ball.
Let me be up there. That's what I'm saying. That was where we struggled. Like we would play Capital and they would have 10 guys that are more athletic than every guard we had. I would be standing at half court like I can't even touch the ball. I'm getting doubled too. Like that's what you're gonna face a lot too. Like they're just gonna double you. Like they just double. Like that's just what they do.
Yeah, nah. I just if I make the good read at the trap, usually it just like opens up the options. We all summer we didn't really have problem with pressure. There was this Cleveland team that we played in Cedar Point. They ran a man press, and there's nothing you can really do against a man press. Our guards,
Especially if they're randomly trapping. It just makes it so difficult to get a
That's the
read
West
on like a
Lib. That's
pattern.
West Liberty for you. That's how they
Yep.
made their whole living, man. That's what they do.
that's what we did my 8th grade year. We ran a little
Yeah.
random man press like Wesley.
I like that
But
though. Get the highest IQ player the ball, trust him to make the reads, and it's like
mhm,
Jokic with Denver. It's like Jokic with Denver. He's the one that they want making the
Point center.
decision. Yeah, so I mean, I love that, man. Do that for sure. Say there's a kid like you coming up in West Virginia. He might not be as tall or as gifted as you, but he has skill. Might not have the best coaching staff. What advice would you give to him? Say he's in sixth, seventh grade to get his potential to like to where you got yours. Like, what advice would you give a young player, like how to develop himself to get to your level?
I would say just like stay around the game, like get shots up in the morning, but don't do this at an early age, honestly, because I feel like if I would have like started taking the game serious like my 6th grade year instead of my 10th grade year, then I think you need to surround yourself with people who know basketball. Because like I'm at the point now where I can tell if someone's just telling me a lie to like say he helped me to get here, or if someone's actually going to help me and he knows the game. So
Right.
like my 10th grade year when I was trying to progress, I could tell like and my dad obviously helped me with that. He helped me figure out who's going to really help me or really not, like who's going to take me to the next level, who's not. But I'd say my 6th grade year, if I was really serious then, I couldn't tell who's just like using me for money. Like here, I can
Yeah.
train you for this amount of money, or who is actually going to help me. So I think Coach Green at GW, he's really good. Like he's a basketball
He's one of
mom.
the best of all time for sure.
Yeah, I think Ben Nickel, who was a freshman when I was he was a senior when I was a freshman. He's a real smart basketball mind. I'm just like really blessed to be around so many minds of the game, and I got taught the game the right way. So I'd say like just surround yourself with people who know the game, and just stay around the game. Like watch film. Like it might sound stupid, but playing 2K, like you just randomly see something, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like I gotta try that. But
Yeah.
like this
It
is
clicks.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I mean, like, I started at 7 years old, and I'm from Cedar Grove, so I had no one. I had no mentor. I had nothing. So I was a huge basketball head at 7 years old. I would go play with grown men at the park. Well, once I'm like 10, 11, I'm better than the grown men. So then, like, we had to start our own local AAU team. There wasn't AAU teams. We had to start our own community team. We lost every game all summer one year, my first year. Then 7th grade, we're a little bit better. Then 8th grade, I'm scoring 30 points at Cedar Grove. Then, like, it takes so much for somebody that doesn't have resources to get to that point. Then by the time I got to Salem my freshman year, I was burnt out. I was like, I hate basketball now. Like, it was such a rough journey to where then once I got there, I was like, this is not what I worked so hard for to end up at this school that like was so underwhelming. So like me and Drew talked about this. I didn't watch basketball for 3 years after I left Salem after my first year. Now like I love it again. Like I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
But that's why it's
And that
so
and he
important, man, to
prevented
find a
burnout
mentor.
essentially from waiting, until he was like a sophomore.
That's what
I
I'm
stayed
saying.
around
Exactly.
basketball. Yeah, like I started playing when I was 5 years old, brother, and I played every year until I finished up my 4 years of college ball. So like, I was 21 years old, and I hated the game so much after I got done playing. I stopped watching for like 2 years, and then once the pandemic happened and the bubble happened, I really got back into basketball again. And it's one thing. It's just like keep the main thing the main thing. It sounds so
The
cliche.
mentors are so important though, man. If you
Yeah,
can be a
so
mentor to younger
Mentors,
kids and show them, man,
and
it's
I
everything.
would say watch a bunch of college basketball. Like I like watching NBA basketball, but it's just not. You're
too
not gonna.
skilled. You're not going to get nothing from
You're
that
not.
because they're not
You're
even the same remote universe, bro.
you're not gonna do something that Kyrie Irving
No,
does. Like it's the hard truth. Like I know I have a 0.001% chance of going to the NBA. I think I could play overseas, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to do that and get into coaching.
100%.
But as a kid from West Virginia, I'm not playing in the NBA. So watch a bunch of college basketball, because college kids, especially watch the Big East. That's what I watch.
I love the
The
Big
Big
Yep.
East. The
East.
old Big East is my
The
favorite
old Big
basketball
East was
conference
really,
of all
really was,
time.
brother.
Yeah,
Man,
I remember watching one game this year. It was St. John's and someone, but like they are trying so hard, and it's like such a good game of basketball.
It's like a
Like if
it's a
you're
more
gonna,
mind
skilled
game
Big
too.
12.
It's such a mind game from the coach's perspective.
It's got the
yeah,
toughness of the Big 12, but the skill of like an ACC. So like you're mixing the toughness of one conference that might lack skill like a Big 12, and you're putting them together, and the Big East is like an ACC with Big 12 toughness. It's amazing, bro.
Big East is fun to watch.
Everybody's going to W this year. You know you're going to be the main point of the scouting report. Who is somebody on your team? One, it could be two guys that you think like has the potential. If they were somewhere else, they would be a star. Like who this year is going to surprise people to where like Noah's getting doubled. This dude is a dog we didn't even know. Like who is a guy on your team like that?
Well, we have a couple. We have one of my best friends, part of the Dirty Bub. We got Caden Welch. He, in my opinion, he is the most skilled player outside of me on our team. There's some days where he's better than me.
What
Like if
position?
you've seen, he's a
He's a tweener.
he can really play anywhere. But like I'd say in college, he's going to be a 2 or 3. He's
How
going to
tall?
have to
Like
be
what size? What's his size like? And what's he do?
six
Like
3, 6'4". He can shoot, put it on the floor, finish at the
Gotcha.
rim. But he's really good in my opinion. It's just he struggles when he gets in the game. Like his confidence, like he gets to his head too much. He just needs to play because he has the skill, and he's just his basketball IQ isn't quite there yet. Then we got Dominic.
he's a freshman, right? Or sophomore? About to be a
He'll be a
sophomore.
sophomore. Yeah, if he's open like catch and shoot, he's gonna make it. Like
It's
he's
butter.
one of the best shooters I've seen. He's working on getting downhill. If he can start finishing and playing in that mid-range area and be like a complete scorer, he'll be really good. He can be one of the better players in the state by the time he's done. And then everyone else, we just got a bunch of glue guys. Like we got Chuck and Matt. They're both seniors with me. Probably two of our better defenders. They guarded. I know in the state championship they switched on and off of Caleb Thomas, and they're only 5'11",
That's
but
incredible because CT has. I mean, he's got such a huge wingspan too, and he's 6'7", 6'6".
Drew
So he
knows all
can.
those guys so well too. Like he's really tapped in up there, so he's very familiar with those guys.
yeah, no, some of those Spring Mills. I know I played with Xavier before. I'm good friends
Oh, you
with
know
Matt.
Zay? Yeah, I cut Zay's hair, bro. That's my guy.
Really?
Yeah, I cut Zay and Max Anderson, Tyler Jones, like all those guys. Like I've had, I've covered them all last year because, like I said, I'm a broadcaster with Home Team Sports, so I cover all the basketball and football games up here. So I've got to build a relationship with them, and they're going to be pretty impressive next year. But I'll lead into my last question. I'll let Josh follow it up. You know, I think right now going into next year, it's you, Spring Mills, Morgantown, and Parkersburg South. You four right there, I think, are in a class of your own. What do you define as a success when the final whistle blows for you all next year?
What's going to separate?
Yeah, what's going to be what in your mind is going to make it a successful season for you? Is it a state championship? Is it making player of the year? What's
Well,
going to
for us, it's
satisfy
the
you?
state championship. That a state championship will satisfy me. I don't care what individual awards we get. Like if I get state championship, then I don't really care. I don't care if I average 5 points a game. But no, to beat those guys, we're gonna have to play defense. Like we're gonna have to have the best defense, and you're gonna have to have the biggest thing that I saw from playing in the state tournament last year is the state tournament was not a transition game. It was a half court basketball game. Like all the games we play, you're going to have a great half court offense. So just defense, like making sure a team, because that's how you get blown out. If you let a team get in transition, that's how you give up those easy buckets. But if you have a great half court offense, and because any team can score in transition, but if you have a great half court offense and you can limit teams to make them play in the half court, then that's what's gonna take, I'd say.
Yeah,
Sure,
that's
Josh.
what like how we were talking earlier about like the guys that you would see in the AAU circuit. Like these guys are freaks, but at the end of the day, it's like okay, when you play a good team and they limit your transition and we're all in the half court, it exposes everybody that's not a real good basketball player. So it's
Who's
like
really skilled or not?
you might look crazy in North Carolina on a weekend catching oops, but when we get in a real half court game and you're on the wing and you can't be a 3-and-D guy or you can't hit catch and shoot threes, guys like you and guys like Jake Stevens, and that's where they actually excel. So I think people like overlook the star power of guys from, man, he's athletic, he's tall. At the end of the day, who's good at half court, who's good at basketball, who can make reads. So yeah, that was my last question, Drew. Just how can you beat Spring Mills and what the goal was. And my last advice with you would be to go out there and don't think about having to prove your skill set. Like you already know your skill set. If you got a guy that can't hold you in the block, then destroy him on the block. Like it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Don't overthink like, man, I got to be college ready. Just kill all these guys. You'll have
no,
4 years in college. Who cares? Just kill these guys and enjoy your last year where you are. Just have no regrets about it, man. I appreciate you hopping on.
For
I'm
sure.
trying to score as much as possible because
Yeah, kill them all.
I don't know exactly the number. I think it's 24 or 25. If I average 24 or 25, I break the scoring record at
You got
GW.
to ask Coach Green about Elmore's senior year because it was the craziest
Yeah,
thing I ever seen.
I was
Yeah,
hooping with John 3 days ago.
He's
the
still
ball
getting
headed
after it too.
assassin, brother. He is different. I'm telling you right now. It was. I've never seen somebody just pull up over three people and cash two straight
I
in a
think
row.
he
I
had
was
almost
like,
1,000 points in his senior year
No,
in one
yeah,
season.
it was
he did have
900. It was
1,000.
933 or something like that.
900 points in
I
his
thought he had
senior
1,000, but he
season.
missed like 2 games his senior year. He missed a couple games, right?
But he
He's
averaged 33. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
he's one of the best. He's one of the best West Virginia players of all time. Because like we talk about like OJ Mayo and guys like that, but just John did it in a way of where he put the time in as a child. He was playing against the grown men with his dad, with his family. It wasn't just like he was so naturally gifted. Like he said, "I want to be this good." He made himself that good, and he's lasting forever because his style of play. He'll be able to play basketball until he can't walk no more
Timeless.
because of the way he plays, and that's how you should really develop as a player.
For sure. And again, Noah, we really appreciate you hopping on the EPAN to the UKV pod. We wish you luck going into your senior season. Also, with your commitment at Wright State, we want to congratulate you for that. Again, I'm Drew Pitzer, Josh Carpenter, my co-host, and Noah Lewis from George Washington High School. Thank you again, Noah, and you have a great night, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you again, Noah Lewis from George Washington. Join us today on the pod. I mean, it was a lot of great information we learned from him, Josh. How did you feel about his overall impact and what he's doing for George Washington?
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch his senior season this year. I think he definitely is one of the better players to come in this valley in the last few years, and his size and just his skill set that he's developed, I think He has potential to leave like one of the best George Washington players of all time. So I'm excited to see what he does this year for sure.
Sure. I mean, obviously, just speaking with him, you can tell he has a high level basketball IQ. I mean, he looks to make his teammates better too. He's naturally a driver. He likes to get downhill, and create for not only himself but his teammates. But what I took away is he's like a coachable player too. Like he knows he has so much room for improvement. And what I didn't agree with is he's like, I'm not going to make it to the NBA. We talked about this off air. Is like this kid has talent. I mean, obviously, like this state is not filtered with as much talent as if you go like Texas or California. But when you look at his game, I mean, it's obvious to say, oh, he plays just like Luka, but he has pieces of his game that is transferable to maybe not the NBA, but at least to the professional ranks, Josh.
Yeah, because like we talked to Jake Stevens, and then me and you were talking about like if Jake Stevens, he wasn't the most naturally talented player, but he put in the work and he developed his skill set. And I think Noah is more advanced in his coming into his senior year than say a guy like that was his senior year. So I think Noah can definitely play professionally, and I think his feet quickness and like his lateral quickness is better than like most guys that size from this area going in. Like, so he does have some speed and like he has some athleticism for sure. I think he definitely can play professional basketball, no doubt about it.
Yeah, well, so the way I look at it is honestly his athleticism and he might not necessarily be a fast guy per se, but his quick twitch and his overall speed to get to his spots, he's just so manipulative with how he plays. I mean, watching his film, I was seeing a lot of stuff. I mean, he gets up there on the rim too. I know he's taller, he's about 6'7", and he's there, but he's finished at the rim, and his passing ability is so underrated. Seeing what he's doing for his teammates, especially his eyes on the perimeter. As soon as he catches the ball in the block, Josh, it's almost like immediately he's looking the other side of the floor to see if he's got any matchups over there that he might like. So I really appreciate the way he goes towards the game, and also his coaching staff. You got an opportunity to meet them this week, right?
Yeah, I think like with Noah, his strength too, like he's a big guy. He's strong. So like there's not many it's usually either a tall, skinny kid at that height in this age, but he's got the height and he's got the muscle and the strength. Like he's a big kid. He's coordinated as well. Like he's gonna bring a lot of teams trouble this year for sure. And it's hard to not look forward to like certain matchups to like if they end up playing Spring Mills again, like I'm excited to see that because I want to see him against guys like how he speaks on the circuit. Like I want to see him against big athletic guys play as well.
For sure. I mean, as you saw, like that's what we talked about for real is how is his ability to translate from, playing West Virginia town where he even said, hey, I can get downhill almost anytime I want to against these guys. But obviously, playing at the Division I level next year, it's gonna be a lot different for you. He's not gonna be able to find those lanes as easy. You're gonna have to really develop his perimeter game. And also, defensively, he's a good team defender. Like he plays great team defense. But at the Division I level and even in the professional ranks, you got to be able in isolation. You have to be a great isolation defender. And I think that's going to be something that he takes pride on because that's the little things like that is really what allows you to flourish as a polished basketball player. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, like when we talked about guys that you see in the summer that are like really impressive athleticism wise, like at the end of the day, like we talked about this with Noah, when you get out there, can you shoot the ball, catch and shoot threes? Can you hit catch and shoot threes? Can you defend? Like, can you do the basic stuff and you'll get on the court? So I think most important thing, can you guard? Can you hit catch and shoot shots? If you can do that, you can play college basketball. So you don't necessarily have to be the most athletic guy. You just have to know and manipulate the game. Like if you're a big like Jake or Noah and you switch on the guard, like you don't have to be super athletic. You can just manipulate the game to where like you can be confident in those switches. So I think that's all stuff like you'll learn with experience, but it's possible for sure for somebody like him to be successful.
For sure. And, obviously we were talking about this. We're kind of in the middle of our first season, obviously ever doing this pod. We've gotten some tremendous reviews. We really appreciate everybody out here that's really taking time to watch the show. Obviously, we've had Luke Samples, Ryan Miller, Kyle Van Meter, Jake Stevens. We're going to have Mike Lamberti from West Liberty. We have QJ Peterson on the rise, Patrick Beeline, John Beeline's son, all potential people to be joining us on the pod. I think that our impact, that's why we call this the EPAN to the UKV. We're stretching from the Eastern Panhandle all the way down to the Upper Kanawha Valley. And I believe not only just basketball, but just life in general. Eventually, we'll evolve as a pod to create opportunities, not just in the sports realm, hopefully, maybe even entertainers. And we're going to try to bring the whole state together more of a collective. And I think that's our ultimate mission goal. What do you feel about that, Josh?
Yeah, I definitely see like us being able to have different pods with our pod, like different sections of everything from whether it's like entertainment or like music or football or other sports. Like I definitely see us being able to branch off and have multiple guests, multiple hosts that can do things. And then with me and you specifically, like we're not having any shortage of guests for sure. So I think like we
Exactly.
don't have to we're not in the beginning we were like, who can we get on here? Like, but
And now we
now,
got people flooding us, bro. Like it's
yeah,
it's a, it's a blessing. We really appreciate that though. Like that's the thing.
yeah, it's awesome. And that reminds me of something I was thinking the other day too. Like I want us to get a player from like Musselman, and I want us to get a player from Riverside because I think like when I was coming up, I had no media attention probably until like my senior year.
I'd
So I'm
agree.
thinking so like I used to hate when I was a player coming up and I would see these same guys and like we love Noah, but it's like if I was coming up and I seen Noah getting all this love, like I hated it. So like
I would be a hater.
when
Oh,
I was a
D1
good
hater.
player, bro, when I was a player and I'm like, why are these same 5 guys always getting the media love? So, like, there's definitely some good players that we don't know yet that
Yep.
aren't getting they ain't getting media love. So, like, I want us to go find some of these guys that aren't getting all the media's attention in West Virginia and, like, put them on, give them a platform, help them network because it might help their career as well. Plus, there's guys out there that's really dogs that aren't getting any attention at all.
For sure. And like, obviously we had the alumni tournament that was presented by Home Team Sports yesterday. The Spring Mills, of course, they won a state championship. They also won the alumni championship. We were up on them by 15 and a half. That's a long story. It ended up, we folded. It folded like some laundry. It is what it is. But just to be able to see that impact, and I had at least, I'd say 20 people came up to me yesterday, complimented you. As a good co-host, complimented the shows itself, and just the pure basketball analytics that we bring. It's not only we talk about the game, in an analytical standpoint, but we also break it down like it's barbershop. Like I'm in a barbershop right now. After this pod, I'll be going to work, and it's like every day that I'm in the shop and I hop on here, it's almost like there's no change, just because we built that relationship and that rapport. And I think that's what makes us special is or not our clients. See, I say that because I'm about to cut hair, but our the people that want to join, our guests really feel comfortable. I think that's what we take pride in is we want everybody to have a safe, enjoyable environment where they can, hey, let loose a little bit. Obviously, we have the ability to cut things out. So there's things that we've heard that we've had to be like, it's probably not the best to leave in here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just so cool because we have that relationship already, and I'm just looking forward to that flourishing more on forward, Josh.
I think the best thing with me and you specifically is that what separates us from just like a normal pod of 2 guys, like even in the States, like we actually know what we're talking about. Like we've been there firsthand. So like we're actually real hoopers. Like we really did this whole journey from middle school, high school to college. So we really know what we're talking about. And then we're also like we're pretty decently smart guys in everyday life. But I think since we really know basketball, even a guest that doesn't know us personally, like they respect us by the end of it because they know what we're talking about. Like we earn that respect early because we really have been through this journey that we're talking about. So I think our word is respected because we're not just yapping about stuff that we never did.
Right,
We really
exactly. I
was
mean,
out there.
when you speak on that respect factor, I think it goes back to say you're out in a Walmart and somebody comes up and talks to you. Oh, you played at Riverside back in 2016. You were a great basketball player. You could tell right off a jump right there. They probably don't know much about the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I'm all for educating people on basketball. Like I'll have people come up and ask me random questions. Like yesterday when I was at the tournament, like what's the difference in a 2-3 and a 3-2? Like I had a little kid ask me that, and I was like. Don't know him from Adam. I have no idea where he goes to school, what he plays for, but he complimented the pod. He was just like, hey, like our coaches keep putting in a 3-2 or 2-3. I don't know the difference. Sometimes I'm high up, sometimes I'm down low. I ended up drawing it up on my hand like we're in the backyard. So I just love the impact that we had because basketball is an excuse merely for relationships. That's what the great Kelly Church says. And I use that every day. I'm like, I'll use basketball as a way to network. I mean, that's how you and I met is just because of a little orange ball that we try to put into a hoop. And then it's built so many different relationships for us and the network opportunities. Again, I know it sounds like we're rebuttaling everything that we're saying right now, but we're just so appreciative of our followers, of our guests.
Mhm.
And I appreciate you too, Josh, man. You've been awesome, brother. I'm
Oh,
so proud of you.
100%, man. I appreciate our relationship, man, our friendship, and I think like, but I haven't even got into this coaching journey yet. But like the networking community of like basketball coaches at all levels is crazy. Like the high school coaches to the highest level of college. Like a lot of these guys are all just tapped in together in the same community. Like I haven't seen this like huge of a network of a community before. Like these coaches, the good ones, whether they're in high school or major D1, like they all know each other. They're all tapped in and they're all sharing stuff together. Like, it's a crazy community, man. Like Joe Mazzulla was talking about, JJ Redick had asked him on a pod, like to make it short. He was like, "You must have been dominating in D2 to get the job in the G League." He was like, "No." He was like, "I met a guy at the airport. He had my number. He called me and asked if I wanted a G League job." He was like, "I went like 14-8 at Glenville." Like he was like, "I didn't do anything special." Like it's all off the relationships that he built. So like whether it's the pod or coaching or all that, like you put all that together, networking is a big thing, man. If you earn somebody's respect and your word is genuine and they respect it, they might never forget that. So you might get opportunities in the future just off of how you had a conversation with somebody before because they liked what you were saying.
Right. Just like you said, Joe Mazzulla at a random airport is now, a coach of the year candidate, already a, NBA finals champion. And I played against him. I know it was the year after you decided you didn't want to play anymore. We played it against him in Salem. And I actually got to talk to Mazzulla for a good 15 minutes after the game, just being a little West Virginia boy connection. And of course I was fanboying over the fact that, they beat John Wall and Work's cousins in the Elite Eight. And that was, probably one of the last times West Virginia basketball was truly relevant. And I think that's one of the things that West Virginia actually missed out on was an opportunity to see, hey, this guy Joe Mazzulla is a basketball genius. Maybe he's a little odd, he's a little peculiar, but that's kind of how Huggins was, and we loved him, embraced him for that. So I mean, I'm all proud. I'm so proud of Joe Mazzulla and what he's been able to do with his career outside of basketball too. And obviously hearing how they were speaking on Nova Southeastern and just the ability of what they've done. Obviously we're gonna have Mike Lamberti on here and his offensive genius carrying over for Ben Hallett, the former Westlake coach who's now at IU Indy. I think that's so cool. And just to follow up, one more thing is you were speaking on the networking opportunities. Every type of professional career is kind of built off a tree. We all have tree branches. So it doesn't really necessarily matter what you know personally. I know there's plenty of people that's more intelligent than us about the game of basketball, but we know so many people. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I'm a firm believer.
Yeah, it is. And like me and Coach Green were talking about this. There's a lot of coaches that are highly respected and considered good coaches that are sub 500 all time in winning percentages and they have never won a state championship, which is crazy to me that like there's what defines success. Like he told me, like success is only defined by you. Like your success is defined by you. Like other people can't define it. But there's great coaches that didn't have 500 record for the majority of their career. So when it comes to X's and O's, that success is a different scale that people follow than like personal success or like how you developed relationships or so I think a lot of people get stuck on the wins and losses, but if you're a high school coach, I think like what you do, how you help these kids, like that's before winning probably. And then the great coaches do both. So they like get relationships with kids and they like win a lot of games. Something I saw the other day I wanted to ask about in this pod was I saw a post that was like, just because you were a former player doesn't make you a good coach. And I wanted to talk about this too. Like, I agree with that, but like, what do you think is the difference of a great player, a former great player that is coaching, and a guy that was never a good player coaching? Like, there's a difference just off the gate.
Right. There's a major difference. So I think it can go one of two ways. So obviously let's just take for example, you never played the game, or you played the game, you weren't a great player, so you never really earned minutes. I think you can end up being like an Eric Spoelstra, or you can be like a Skip Bayless. So and both those people have respectable fan bases, but obviously Skip Bayless averaged 1 point a game as a junior on JV, and Eric Spoelstra had to become a coordinator, a film coordinator with the Miami Heat and really build his way up and build that trust, with the Mafia Man and Pat Riley himself. And I think he's so respected because he got to see the floor from a coach's perspective because he didn't play. So I do think sometimes some of the best coaches in the world weren't ever really good at the game. Not necessarily they weren't good. They knew the game. They just didn't have the physical attributes. But also you do on the flip side of the coin where you have a great player, a great talent, somebody that was absolutely terrific. Let's just use Steve Nash as an example. I mean, two-time MVP, was terrific. Had Kyrie Irving, James Harden and Kevin Durant. And there was flashes where, he had some really good sets, but I think going into game planning when you're on the floor and you can control things compared to being a coach off the floor, I think that was kind of what some of his downfalls, and they really missed the opportunity to be one of the best teams of all time. So again, it's give or take. Everybody's story is different to me.
Yeah, I think like watching I just started watching games in the last probably 6 months to a year, not following the ball. So I spent my whole life watching games from a player perspective. I've just now, like in the last half of a year, started watching everything else. Like I would watch off-ball stuff to make reads, but now like when I'm watching the game, I'm watching the coaches, I'm watching the off-ball, the refs, like I'm watching the whole game.
Yep.
But I just think if you're a former player and you're 100% mentally invested in learning the coaching, it's easier to learn to be a coach than it is to learn to be. You can't learn to be a former player. So if you're an intelligent former great player and you want to learn the coaching side of things, it's possible. But if you're not a former player, you can learn the coaching things and be great, but you're not ever going to have that real, it's time to get at it. Like we're dogs, we're hooping. Like you'll never have that. So I think if you're a former great player and you're fully invested on becoming a great coach, I think you'll always have that little, it's just like a job. You'll have experience. So like you already had experience. So I think the
Right.
former great player, like if you're a former great player and you buy in to be a great coach, you'll have like some extra patches on your resume for sure.
So I look at it too as honestly like my favorite coaches. I love Steve Kerr and I love Phil Jackson, and both of those guys are middle of the road NBA players who are obviously contributors to winning teams. And that's why they kind of both have a similar path as Phil Jackson in the '90s with the Bulls, and then obviously the 2000s with Shaq and Kobe, and then even 2009 and 10 with really Kobe and a great supporting cast. I think he went through so much stuff, not only being on the floor, but sometimes being on the bench and seeing it from a coach's perspective. So I think that really helped Phil Jackson out a lot. And obviously, Steve Kerr working with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, like seeing those different personalities and how they mix obviously affected his coaching style and allowing, Steph and Clay, Draymond, KD when they had them all to go crazy. So I think that's a good point that you made. That was a good little rebuttal that you had about, hey, like, how can you be somebody that did play the game and really wasn't even around the game, become one of these best coaches or a decent coach? And I think you have your work cut out for you because, like you said, if you're a great player, you already have the instincts and the wherewithal to pursue excellence. So you're going to try everything. You already had the film study in your head. You obviously already know sets and how to break down things, at least instinctually. So I think it is much easier to be a great player to become a great coach rather than a coach that never really got to play and have to really dig himself out the ranks.
Yeah, Steve Kerr is the best of both worlds, though. To be able to play with Michael Jordan and then be able to coach Steph Curry, so it's like he got the best preparation he could have ever gotten as a player, and then as a coach to be able to have the freedom to coach Steph Curry, Steve Kerr's the great. Like, there's so many great coaches, like Phil
Hey, shout out
Jackson.
Mark Jackson though. Mark Jackson did a lot for the building of at least the
Yeah,
confidence for the Splash Brothers. So, but Steve Kerr
yeah.
definitely it's not like he didn't do anything. I don't want people to ever get that confused. Mark Jackson did a lot of the build for that, but I think the Warriors were right. I mean, they were at a lull. They couldn't even really get by the Clippers, and they damn sure weren't getting by the Spurs. They weren't getting by the top echelon of the Western Conference. And when they
Yeah.
made that switch and I had a new basically fresh voice, the Warriors dynasty was created there, buddy.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Jackson. I like the Van Gundy brothers.
Love them.
Obviously, like in college, I
That
like
Van
Coach
Gundy got
Cal.
that pack.
I love them both, man. I like Coach Cal, obviously, and
Mhm.
then you got Mark Pope's good too. And then NBA,
Pope's
like I
terrific.
love JJ Redick, man. I think he's gonna be a great coach. I love Joe Mazzulla. College, I love Howlett, Crutchfield. Like I love all those guys, man. I think they're
The
great
Patino
coaches.
brothers,
Yeah. One of my
or
last
not Patino,
questions
the Patino pop.
I was gonna
Yeah, go ahead.
ask you, I go back and forth with this a lot. It's gonna be like the last question I had, but I've seen practices and games at high school and college level is so game plan and organized, and it's like analytic based even at this point. Like they're doing things like it's just so overly analyzed, which I love the analytics. I love studying analytics for games like percentages and stuff. But I think, like, do you agree with the balance? Like, I think there has to be a balance of how Luke Samples was saying, like, keep it simple and stupid, but you also need to have those analytical breakdowns. I've been seeing on Twitter a lot, like, there's a lot of just straight up book, and I'm not saying this is a derogatory term, nerds. Like, they're nerding out over the game. It's like they're manipulating every little single thing to where they're almost doing what they're not trying to do. They're making players almost robotic. They're
Yep.
trying to teach a non-robotic system. Like, we're teaching kids not to be robotic, but you're making everything so detailed that you're almost doing it in that way. Like, I think they're over making everything more complicated because basketball at the end of the day, like, the most successful guys of all time, they really just rolled the ball out and had a structure and just went with it. Like, do you think they're over analyzing the game? Like, it's basketball at the end of the day.
Oh, 100% there. It's way too analytical at this point. Now, don't get me wrong. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But also, I think, Billy Beane kind of ruined the whole aspect of sports with his Moneyball system. You're looking at numbers and analytics to what they provide, and people don't include the analytics a lot. What's going on in the environment? What's going on to a player's personal life? What it's not going to take into account injuries. And Kevin Durant also said something huge about the mid-range jumper. It's the most unutilized shot in the game today, but it's also probably the most efficient ways to score if you're decent at it because nobody's guarding it anymore. They're guarding the 3-point line and the paint. So yeah, Josh, I definitely believe that the game is. I think it's 60% analytics. Like you have to rely on the numbers, but also 40% intuitiveness, instinct, and the eye test. Like nobody cared that Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant was 6 for 24 in a Game 7 NBA Finals, still won the Finals MVP because they're not winning the Finals without Kobe Bryant. They'll get swept. So I think it's just an interesting aspect of a balance. But I think there's teams that just concentrate strictly on the analytics never reach their end goal. You have to be able to say, hey, my player is not a robot. He's not a number. He's a human. So again, that's kind of all I've got for today, brother. I want to appreciate Joe and your help with getting him on the pod. He was incredible. Obviously, we can't wait for Lamberti to join us. We have QJ Peterson joining us this week too. So we hope to have him either on the next episode or the following. So we're super excited. I mean, this is a great episode 5 for us.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Halfway through the first season, we'll probably do 10 episodes on season one, right? So halfway through the first season, I think it's went really well, man. I love the quality of the episodes, the video, the audio, the guests that we've had. It's just going to get better, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to link up in person too and do some stuff. It's going to be fun. So, yeah, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate all our guests, and I'm excited to keep going, man. Shout out to Noah. I can't wait to watch him this year. That's on our episode for this episode. So yeah, man, I'm ready to keep it going.
For sure. And again, guys, we really thank you all for your support. If you're still watching to this point, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share all of our platforms. We really appreciate you guys. Again, I'm Drew Pitzer. You got Josh Carpenter. We want to give a shout out to Noah Lewis for joining us from George Washington. This is episode 5 of the EPAN to the UKV pod, and we're out.